When you think back to your first days in school, it was all about two core skills, right? Reading and writing. We learned our ABCs, we learned how to build sentences, and how to understand what we read. That's literacy, and it's the bedrock of our education. But what if I told you that's only half the story?
Right. We spend years, literally years, getting good at reading and writing. But what about the other side of that coin? What about our ability to speak our minds clearly and to really truly listen to others? In other words, what about our oracy? Now, that might be a new word for you, but it represents a skill that's every bit as fundamental. So, what is oracy? Well, the term was actually created back in the 1960s by a professor named Andrew Wilkinson, and he had a simple, powerful idea. He wanted to put spoken language on the exact same level as reading and writing. He defined oracy as, simply, the ability to use the oral skills of speaking and listening. It really is the missing half of the communication puzzle. But oracy isn't just one single thing. It's actually really helpful to think about it in two distinct but totally connected parts. There's learning how to talk effectively, and then there's using talk as a powerful tool for learning itself. So let's break that down a bit. So this idea splits into two key areas. On one side, you've got learning through talk. You might also hear this called dialogic teaching. This is all about how teachers can use talk in the classroom to make learning way more interactive. And on the other side, you've got learning how to talk, or oracy education. This is the explicit, direct teaching of spoken language skills to students. You really need both for the whole picture to make sense. Let's look a little closer at that first one, learning through talk. A really great teacher knows how to balance two different modes. First, there's the authoritative presentation. That's the classic lecture style, right? It's great for getting information out there. But then there's interactive dialogue, and this is where the magic really happens. The teacher steps back, they talk less, and the students talk more. They're encouraged to discuss, to question each other, and to actually justify their ideas. Okay, so why is this so important? I mean, why should we care so much about elevating talk in the classroom? Well, the research is crystal clear. Developing these skills has a massive impact on a child's entire educational journey. And we're talking about so much more than just being a good chatter. This, right here, is the crucial point. Get this, the quality of a child's early language experience, how much they're part of thoughtful conversations and discussions, is one of the most powerful predictors of their future success. And I'm not just talking about an English class. We're talking across the entire curriculum, from science to history to math. It's a game changer. This all leads to the incredible cognitive power of talk. Researchers Littleton and Mercer came up with this fantastic term, interthink. Think about that. Language doesn't just let us interact, it lets us think together. We can solve problems, we can build new knowledge as a group. It's a uniquely human skill, and it's absolutely essential for the world we live in today. And this is also a really important issue of equity. The kind of communication kids experience outside of school can vary a lot. For so many children, school is the only place where they'll have the opportunity to really build a full, rich set of these essential spoken language skills. That makes the school's role here absolutely critical. Okay, so we've covered what oracy is and why it's so vital. But how do you actually teach it? I mean, what does this look like? The good news is, these aren't just fuzzy, abstract concepts. There are very real, very practical strategies that any teacher can use to bring oracy into their classroom. Let's see how this works. Say you want to teach effective group work. There's a clear 6-step process. You start by just getting students to think about how they already talk to each other. Then you work with them to define what a good discussion looks like, and you create ground rules together. That co-creation part is so key. It's not just the teacher laying down the law. Then, after the group task, the final step is maybe the most important. You review the discussion itself. It's a very deliberate and reflective process. The whole point of those ground rules, the ultimate goal, is to build something called exploratory talk. Now, this isn't just random chatting. It's a very specific kind of conversation where everyone is actively involved, ideas are challenged, but constructively. People give reasons for what they think, and the group actually works together to build a shared understanding. Okay, so what about public speaking, that big scary thing? Well, we can teach that too, using a similar step-by-step approach. This whole process is designed to build confidence. You start small, in a safe setting. And here's a key tip. You ask students to prepare using only keywords, not a full script. Why? Because it stops them from just reading off a page and encourages a much more natural delivery. And of course, you end the cycle with supportive, constructive feedback to help them grow. And we absolutely cannot forget the other half of oracy, listening. It is so often overlooked, but listening is an active skill, and it has to be taught. You can start by simply asking students, hey, what makes it easy for you to listen? What makes it hard? From there, you can use activities that are designed to focus their attention and make sure they're based on real-world tasks, not just boring artificial exercises. So when you put it all together, it becomes so clear that oracy is way more than just another classroom strategy. It's a truly foundational skill. It's essential for success in school, for sure, but also in the workplace and just in life. It's really all about empowering people to find their voice and learn how to use it effectively. Let's just let that sink in for a second. Oracy is not just another box to check in the curriculum. It is a fundamental human skill. It's the tool that allows us to interthink, to build ideas together, to share who we are and what we believe, and ultimately to make a real, tangible impact on the world around us. We've seen that language lets us think together, and that our ability to communicate can literally shape our future. It really makes you wonder, for all of us, if talk truly has the power to transform the world, how are you going to use yours?